Hello, everybody. Addie. Cool. Got a nice little crew coming in here. Pin this on here. Guys, as you come in, just make sure you are on mute. I'm going to put everyone on mute right now. Monroe, can you give me a thumbs up if my sound is good? All right, cool. And I'll make sure no one can unmute themselves. All right, we'll give everyone a minute just to jump into the call if they're running a little late. So Mondays moving forward at 3 o'clock is going to be for the Stylist. Some of you guys are part of the Level Up community, and then some of you are part of the Next Level Stylist community, and some of you are part of my community, my internal team. And so I do a lot of content for owners. And so there's a lot of things either lost in translation, and a lot of stylists either struggle with changes happening in their salon, and a lot of stylists don't look at their own business as literally their own business. Like you think it belongs to the salon, but in reality, it's two different brands happening here. You got your salon brand, but then you have your personal brand, what it is that you do behind the chair. And so these Monday calls at 3 o'clock are really directed towards stylists. I'm going to be giving you different things that I've done in my career that got me from literally $0 behind the chair to doing upwards of $30,000 a month behind the chair. And it's not rocket science. It really isn't. It's not that difficult. But it honestly first starts with your mindset and the belief that you can even do it, right? Because depending on where you are at in the US, some of you might only need $8,000 a month, and that's a pretty luxurious life. Then some of you who fly back and forth from New York to California, and you live in LA and then also the Northern East Coast, you realize that, hey, to get a piece of shit house that I need to fix up is $800,000. And wow, that's a lot. And so depending on where you're at in the US, it's going to change your own personal mindset. So when I give you guys numbers and I speak about X amount of dollars behind the chair, that's just relevant to me and then my reality. It does not mean because you only do $5,000 a week behind or $5,000 a month behind the chair or X amount of dollars. It doesn't mean that you're not a good stylist. It doesn't mean you're not making money. So every single person's number, like their quote unquote freedom number, is really dedicated towards you, what you want out of your life, and what you want out of this career. But I'm here to tell you that number that you have in your head, take that number and times it by 10 at the very least, because that's what's possible in this career. I've sat down with stylists that make $14,000 a week, mastering extensions. And I've sat down with people who do $1,200 a week and they're just as happy. But the possibility is there for you, especially if you start taking your own personal business in your own hands and you work with your salon owner or work with whoever is like your suite owners or whoever you could collaborate with and really start collaborating with people for a greater level of success. So today I'm going to break into the 3 pillars of progress. And that's what today's lesson is going to be about. Pillar number 1, I'm going to share with you, so who's ever on this call live, the PDF that I'm looking at. So if you're on a mobile device and it's hard for you to read, if I do share my screen, you kind of know where I'm at. It's going to be right in the chat. And I'm kind of just going to go off the cuff for a lot of this. So let me go get our chat open here. Paste. There you go. So go to the little chat. If you're on a phone, I can't help you. I don't know where it's at, but on a computer, it is that little chat box right there. All right, so we're going to kick it off. Let me just clear my dry throat. All right, so 3 pillars of progress. Pillar number 1 is clarity and focus. So each one of these pillars are twofold. You need to have a clear direction on where you're going with this career. If you don't know where you're going, how are you ever going to get there? Like, think of this. If I were to tell you, Monroe is in that lower left-hand corner of my screen, so I'm going to chat with her right now. And just give me a thumbs up because I can't get you off mute. But if I were to tell you, Anthony is going to give you $10 million, and he is going to be at a James Steakhouse on Friday at 5 o'clock, right? What is the one most important piece of information you are going to want to know? And I just let you unmute, so you can unmute yourself if you want to.
Okay, say that again.
So Anthony who works on the other side of the warehouse, is going to give you $10 million on Friday at 5 o'clock. He is going to just give you a bag full of money. At James Steakhouse in Manhattan, what's the most important piece of information you're going to want to know?
The time and location?
Yes, the location. The exact address, right? So if you were to put in your navigation, Manhattan, would that get you where you have to go?
No.
No. If you put New York, no. If you just started driving in the general direction of east, would you get there? Maybe, but you don't know when you're going to get there. You don't know if there's a detour. So it's important that you have clarity, like you're crystal clear on what exactly it is that you want. And so that gives you the ability to put that destination in your mental visual navigation. Does that make sense? Cool. All right, beautiful. And a lot of people have no idea where they're going. They have a very vague picture of what success looks like for them. Be clear on that. Pick that number, whatever it is for you, and then write it down. Then you focus on attaining that. So whether it's 5,000 a week, 3,000 a week, 10,000 a week. When I first got back in the hair again, I'll give you guys a little background story. I took like almost a 10-year break from doing hair. Did hair right after high school, wound up going to the Marine Corps after 9/11, traveled the world a little bit, did a lot of crazy stuff in my 20s, and then I wound up back in the salon again in my 30s. Now I'm a full-grown man, and I got to start from scratch again. In the interim of leaving hair and getting back again, I learned about marketing. I learned how to build websites. I learned a lot about how to fail at business. And so I took all those failures and kind of applied them to me getting back in the industry again. But one of the main things I was clear on was how much I needed to make. And obviously the law of attraction, manifestation plays a big part in what I like to speak about. That is paired with massive action though. So when I first started doing this, $500 was my goal for the week. And it was like a stretch in my mind. I was like, oh, how am I going to pull this off? Every day I looked at my goals, I looked at my success statement, and I read, Nicholas Mirabella, will book 500 or am booking $500 every single week. Excuse me. And I did it. Like the first week I hit that number. And then week number 2, I was like, wow, I did it again. I read this every single day. Here's the one thing I did though. I was at my salon every single day that I was supposed to be at my salon. So when a client called, guess who booked them? I did. When somebody had to fill in for somebody else and pick up a color or a blowout, guess who picked up that client? I did. And so a couple of weeks went by. I was like, wow, I hit 500. Let me just try 750. Did 750. And then it worked for 750. It's got to work for 1,000. And I did this every single few weeks. I kept raising that number. And I wound up getting to, I think that September, I was consistently doing 4,000 a week. So within like 9 months, by the end of that year, I was consistently booking 5,000 a week. And by the year after that, like February, March, I was hitting like $30,000 months. I was not an expensive stylist. I didn't do extensions. I just power booked. The most important thing I did was I focused on becoming the best hairstylist in my area. And then I focused only on Facebook. At the time, Instagram wasn't as popular. And so all I did was post pictures. I tagged people in them. I make sure I re-commented on what people commented on. And then I started learning about Yelp and Google outside of that. But I was crystal clear on the result I wanted. And then I was solely focused on one social media platform and then one part of my career. When you're struggling and you're trying to build a business and you're like, oh, you're looking at your friends, one's a nurse, one's doing real estate, one's bartending, and they have more money than you. And you're like, did I do the right thing? Am I really going to be successful as a hairstylist? And this is going to be part of pillar 3. But you will not be successful if you're trying to do 3 different jobs and you're not clear on what it is that you want in this career and in terms of being the best hairstylist in your area, and you're not focused on becoming that best hairstylist. So write your goals down, write how much that number is, and write who you need to become in order to make that number actually happen. That's one of my first questions I ask people on my interviews is, what experiences do you want to have in life? Not just here, like in behind the chair, like what do you want out of this life? And question number 2, what kind of person do you need to become to make those experiences or that life possible? Like, who is that person? If you are smoking weed in your parents' basement, it's not going to happen. If you are trying to become a nurse and a doctor and a bartender, and you're doing hair on the side, but then you're door dashing on the weekends, you're not focused. Who is this person? What do they do? Where do they spend their time? Are they mastering their craft? Are they speaking to every person they could possibly speak to and try and get them in their chair? That's crucial. And then give yourself some like a goal setting map, a 30-day, a 60-day, a 90-day map. I want you to write yourself a 90-day letter. Make a promise to yourself. Go to your Google Calendar or your iCalendar. Write this letter in like a Google Doc or some kind of app, right? Some kind of note-taking software. Go 90 days out from today. Put the link to that note in there. And then every single day, become that person who made everything that you wrote in that note 90 days from now happen. And then 90 days from now, you're going to have an alert in your phone, and you're going to be like, holy shit. Be like, wow, I hit this target. I hit this target. Anything you fell short on, ask yourself why. Maybe it was not important to you. Maybe you exceeded somewhere else. But it's important that every 90 days, you at least check in with yourself to see where you're at. And if you're happy, because we're all doing this, honestly, to be happy. If you're miserable at any part of this journey of becoming busy behind the chair, then make a change. You could pivot. Like if you're stuck here and you thought that extensions is what you wanted to do, and now you realize like, I really hate sewing hair. Why did I ever do this? Maybe you should just stick to cutting, right? It's good to learn a lot of different areas of our craft, but if you thought extensions were going to be the vehicle to get you where you have to go, but you just realize that you don't like the type of clientele, it makes you miserable, it's okay to change. It's okay to try different things, especially for the new stylists on this call. Now we're going to talk about some tools. Pillar number 2. Pillar number 2 is tools and strategy. The areas I want to focus on is client building. How do you attract and wow and retain the right kind of clients? So take a look at your Instagram. Take a look at your social media. And if you scroll through it, this is your billboard of what people see to make the decision to come join come to your salon and get their hair done by you, right? Does this scream out to your ideal client? Would they stop scrolling to be like, who is this girl? I have to go to her. Are you putting yourself out there? Like, are you getting in front of camera? Are you doing product reviews? Are you showing people your personality? Here's one of the misconceptions in our industry that happened probably like 4 or 5 years ago when Instagram really got popular. We were told to have 2 separate accounts, right? You have your hair account, and then you have your personal account that you do all the crazy stuff at the bars on or whatever it is that you do in your secret life. In reality, you should have one account. Get all the crazy shit off of there. Like, you don't need to have all the crazy stuff that you do, but you need to have some of your personal life mixed in with your Instagram, because it shows connection points with clients. So if you like horseback riding and it's part of your life and the hobbies that you do, showcase some of that. Not everything. Obviously, your wall and your feed should be predominantly hair. In your stories, start showing things that excite you, things that inspire you. Because Barbara, who's scrolling through, sees your picture, clicks on it, hops in your stories, is like, oh, I go horseback riding too. I'm going to follow her. She's pretty cool. And then it's like you at the gym. Then it's you showing what you're cooking. And then it's you doing your hair, you giving a product review. You're building trust. This is a strategy. This is how you start building your clientele. One of the problems that we run into is you get a client in your chair and then you don't see her again. Who has dealt with that before? Show of hands. Who's done a client and they didn't come back? Happens to everybody. Was it a personality problem? Was it a product problem? So when you're working behind the chair, there's really 2 areas that make up this pie chart. Imagine everyone knows what a pie chart is. A pie chart split in half. 50% of this pie chart is personality. 50% of this pie chart is skill, the product you produce, how good you cut hair, how good you color hair, how good you are at your craft. Now, you have to make sure you're 50-50. 50% personality, 50% skill. What does that equal? Equals 100% of that pie chart. If at any given time, you're not that talented yet behind the chair, you're 30% talent, like you could cut hair okay, you might be good at some highlights, but you're not really that great at color formulation yet. So you're 30%. But you're 70% personality. Like, you're just really funny, you're likable, things you can control, you're interesting. Actually, you're more interested than interesting. You really pay attention to your client and like spark conversation, make them feel at ease. You got a 70% personality. Guess what? That pie chart is back to 100% again. So you can make up for that 30% lack of skill because you're new at doing your craft. It works the other way around too. Let's say you're a bitch. You have an attitude. For whatever reason, you got a chip on your shoulder. You're 30% personality. You have to be 70% talent in order for people to come back to you. If at any given time in your career, you're 30% personality and you're 30% skill, what's that equal? 60%. You're missing almost half of that pie chart, that equation. And so you're never going to retain clients that way. So let's focus on the things we can work on immediately today so that next client who walks in the door, you win them over with your personality. So that's something you could immediately do. It's called emotional intelligence. Google it, take a look on YouTube, learn how to build your EQ, learn how to really connect with people. That ties into your social media as well. But that's how you start building your clientele. And you also have to start rebooking people. So lived in color is big right now. It's been big for a while. So rebooking your clientele is going to be like 6 months out for some people, 4 months out for some people. One of the things I like to do is rebook my color client a couple different ways. One of my strategies is this. If someone comes in for a big color transformation, it's going to be expensive. A lot of people get scared of charging people $300, $400, $500. But in reality, you did a full highlight, you did a glaze, you did a root smudge, you stacked all these services, and now it's going to be expensive. And if your clientele doesn't have the budget for that, it could cause them not to come back as well. It could cause them to want to space these out. So these are two different strategies I like to do. One thing I like to do is create the transformation. Their hair doesn't need to get bleached out completely all today. You don't need to spend 7 hours on that person behind the chair. You could do a couple series of partial highlights. And so instead of it being $550 today, it could be $175, $175, $175. And you could break that up in a couple different sessions for that person. So when they're in your chair for the consultation, you're going to sell the journey of the transformation for their hair. Big, all right, Jennifer, big, this is your inspiration picture. You have a couple layers of color in your hair. We could probably blow all this color out of your hair today, but honestly, what I suggest is that we do it in stages just to save the integrity of your hair. And so was there a special occasion you wanted this color for or anything like that? Like make sure you get that out of the way. If she's getting married next week, then you might have to kind of change this conversation a little bit. But she's like, no, I'm going on vacation with my boyfriend. I think he might propose and we're going away in July. Perfect. Let's do this. Let's do this in stages. So come July, your hair is perfect and it's fresh, ready to go. And right now it's May, right? So you do it May 5th. Then she comes back again in 2 or 3 weeks. Then she comes back again in 2 or 3 weeks. You do it in stages. You do a pH balancing hair treatment to her. You value stack this. So then come July, she's ready to go. She's been in your salon several times. She built the habit of returning to your salon. She got her dream result for her dream destination for that trip with her boyfriend that he might propose on. So you have to really, when you're doing your clients, this is not just a one-off conversation for a consultation. These are going to be your clients forever. So act like that. Get into the consultation. What is this for? Do you have an event? Take me through your hair history. How did you hear about us? Did you hear about us through Google, through Bing, through Yelp, through Instagram? What post was it on there? Really go in depth with that person, because then you can start creating more content, like the same kind of content that brought that person in. So then you know exactly what to create, how to create for your ideal client. Now, let me just digress a little bit. Let's say you're doing client after client and it's not your ideal client. You're actually getting frustrated with people. And it's like, I don't like anyone I'm doing. Start asking them, hey, how did you hear about us? Oh, it was Instagram. Can you show me what post? Oh, it was this post. Then you ask the next person. The next person's like, oh, I found you on Instagram. Oh, it was this post. And then the next person, oh, it was this post. Guess what you should stop doing if you don't like those types of clients? Posting that kind of content. You're getting the wrong audience. So your clients have all the information that you need from them. value that consultation to pull as much information out of them as you can. So this way you can start building and crafting an experience in the salon that you love. And so let me just get back to getting them back in the salon again to rebook. If let's say you did the big color service, you can get them back in next week for a conditioning treatment. You just add it to the service today. Be like, hey, Toby, your hair is fantastic. We got the color you wanted, but how we do things here is we like to make sure your hair's integrity is in full tact. So we have 3 conditioning treatments that are included with our service today. And the next one that I would suggest for you to get is going to be next week. Does Wednesday work for you? Cool. You don't have to get blown out or anything, but just do the treatment and everything. If you want to get blown out, just let me know. You can even let me know that day, especially if your new style's building up. And so you get her back in next week and you just do a regular conditioning treatment. It could be conditioner with a serum in there. You can concoct something. It's not really expensive. Your owners, I'm sure, are not going to mind. And what does that do? It again builds in the habit. It builds you another chance to wow them with your personality. And then you can ask them for the review on Google. You can ask them to collaborate on a picture. If you're not doing anything that day, guess what? You could do like a free blowout for them if you wanted to. Or if they want to blow out, now you got a blowout for the day. So now you're stacking and filling your book. When I started doing hair years ago, it wasn't like it is today in terms of like the root smudges and the melts and like all these big ticket services. It was kind of like you threw foils in, they processed, you did somebody else, they came down, you did like 4 or 5 clients in like a 2-hour time span. Today's a little bit different, but also the clients of yesteryears would come in every 6 weeks. It was just a different animal back then, and you would power book. So you have to get very savvy in how you communicate with your clients to get them to come back more often. And it doesn't have to be for anything expensive. And this is why it's important for your owners to do events in your salon and also have that 2-way conversation with them so they know so-and-so's coming in for a conditioning treatment. I built it into our original price last week, so it's not going to be a charge today. And I'm sure they're going to understand, especially if they're in our program. So these are strategies that we have them implement with you. Professional habits. Here's something that, honestly, a lot of people don't do. You call your clients ahead of time when you see a new client book in your booking software, in the booking appointment. A lot of people don't do that. There's a post-client journey. Like when clients leave the salon, they should be getting contacted how their visit was. That goes without being said. Hey, Allison, how was your visit in the salon? You saw Monroe. How was everything? It was your first visit here? Whatever goes on with your post-client connection, right? I don't know if you guys know or not. A lot of your no-shows, a good percentage of them who just don't come into the salon or don't show up, they're just scared. They're just nervous. They're trying a new stylist. They saw this girl on Instagram who goes horseback riding. And then she's like, I don't know if I like her or not. I just started following her. And then she reached out to me in the DMs. And now I booked an appointment. And like, I don't know if she's going to mess my hair up. This one time I got a bad haircut. Whatever the story she's telling herself, understand that she might have some level of anxiety. How cool would it be if Toby reached out to her and was like, hey, Jennifer, my name is Toby. I saw you're in my appointment book on Wednesday. Just wanted to connect with you and just go over some hair history you had. And did you get our welcome email? Whatever it is. Also wanted to know, how do you take your coffee? Do you like coffee or tea? I just want to make sure, do you have any allergies? Do you want a non-dairy creamer? Something along those lines. So you're not just like, it's an in-depth conversation to really make her experience elevated. And now she's like, holy shit. Like, this salon's on point. Big coconut creamer, almond cream, whatever the hell it is people drink. I don't know. People are doing some weird shit nowadays. But you can have that ready for them. So that's like another way that you build professional habits. If you start treating this business like a profession and you start treating this like doctors do and lawyers do and holding yourself to a higher standard, your clients will start holding you to a higher standard. And then they have no problem paying X amount of dollars for that full highlight or those extensions because you're worth it. The experience is worth it. You're delivering an experience that's what they're paying for. Honestly, you can go to Great Clips, no offense to anyone at Great Clips or like any of these other salons or like franchise salons, but I'm sure someone in these salons give an amazing haircut. There's no reason why they're charging $12 a haircut. They can charge $95 a haircut. It's just the experience, right? It's quick, come in, get a haircut and leave. their talent-wise, their skill set could probably deliver a $95 haircut. It's the experience, right? It's all you should be focusing on. Professional habits. Am I following up? Do I know my numbers? Am I treating this like my business? Money is a really hard conversation to have with people, especially when you feel like, like your boss, it's like they're your boss. You can't ask questions about money. Well, asking for your numbers if you don't know your numbers. Like, hey, what did I do last week? What was my total? And ask from a way, like being curious. Like, I want to build a bigger business here, so I need to really know my numbers. How many were new clients? You should know that number anyway, but you should know what you should do. I have it right here. Keep a daily scorecard at the end of every shift. How many clients were new? How many did you ask for a review? How many clients did I call today this week that were new? How many did I follow up with? Did you review tomorrow's appointments just to make sure there's no surprises in your book? Like whoever came into the salon and you realize like, oh, Allison's in for a full highlight. All she needs is a partial, or Allison's in for a single process, but I know she wanted the full highlight. Why is she only in for a single? Oh, she booked the appointment herself. That's going to really screw up my day. So you ahead of time, you're looking at it. You're like, okay, I can move Allison to 3 o'clock, move her from 2 o'clock. I'll move this person here. And you play like Tetris with your book, but you're a professional. There's no surprises. You should know exactly what's going on in your book before you get to the salon. This way you're not panicking, going to the front desk or trying to call people and move them around last minute. That's chaotic. That's not fun. That's not enjoyable. So take control of your book. That's what professionals do. So be professional. And then part 2 of the second pillar is going to be mastering sales. Mastering service, mastering sales. Service fundamentally is about serving other people. So when you have a client in your chair and she wants a particular look that can't be achieved with what she booked or can't be achieved with maybe her current budget, you have to sell it. Like don't dim your own light just because you think what she can and can't afford. Sell the service that she really needs to achieve that look. And like I said in part 1, maybe break it up over time. Sell that, the whole experience. The better you serve people, the better you can sell people. And you're not selling them to be a car salesman, a sleazy car salesman, or like everyone has a stigma about sales. If you know that this shampoo that you sell her will keep her hair from fading, from being more damaged, it will keep it healthier, why not sell it to her? Why let her leave here and go buy it somewhere else? Or make the wrong decision on the product and now her hair doesn't look the same way it did when she left the salon because you used the right shampoo, the right conditioner, the right root volumizer, and the right finishing hairspray. You set her up with everything. Has any of you been to Sephora before? Show of hands. Cool. Has anyone honestly ever went to Sephora and left with one thing? Not really, right? Who's ever gone to Target before? Like if you go to Sephora for one particular makeup thing and just in and out, yeah. But when you're walking down that counter in Sephora, because I've been here with my wife before, there's 700 products that are screaming your name, and then there's that freaking point thing on the bottom, and then you're 10 points away, and then you use your points. Next thing you know, you went in for a lipstick, you left $300 later, and you're like, holy shit, how did this happen? Well, that happened because they have people who are really smart that organize that whole checkout process for you. Like it could be all done in conversation. It could all be done in communication. And you get a kickback on retail anyway. It's not just about selling the retail to make the money. Obviously, it's a benefit. But every time that client takes a shower and they grab that shampoo, guess what they think about? You. Guess when they do their hair and it looks really good and they're like, holy shit, like I love the way my hair looks because they used the right product and they go to spray it and finish it. Guess what they think of? They think of you because you sold them the product and they make that mental connection between you and then the client and the product that you're using. So it's sales, the sales of retail and the sales of services is fundamentally what we do in the service industry. Do not sell somebody something they don't need, then you're a jerk off. If you sell something they need, they will love it because you're a professional and you know what they need. So recommend products that they could really use. And then you're not selling anything. You're giving them another service, an elevated service by teaching them about products, teaching them about how to style their hair, and then it's effortless. You increase your retention rate something like 70% when you have that client leave with retail. The real number, I don't know. I don't even know who came up with that number, but I know it's a fact because all my clients I sell retail to always come back to me. So I want you to change your opinion of sales, and you're just serving that client on a different level. And now when it comes to the scorecard, guys, like there's some examples in that PDF. Create your own. You don't have to get fancy with an app, or just get a notebook and a pen and paper. Like, all right, I posted 2 times today. I rebooked every client today. You write your income down for your total services, and then how many follow-up thank yous did I send people? Did I review my tomorrow's appointments? And then check in with yourself. Like, was today a good day? Did you go through your affirmations? But at the end of the day, what did I love about today? Cool. I had these 5 clients in there. All right. Well, was today a hard day? You're going to get days in this career that you want to smash into a tree some days. Like you want to just let go of the wheel and just let your car send to the forest. Trust me, I've been there. I wanted to quit my job and work at Home Depot. I was like, fuck this. I'm going to work in the plumbing aisle. I'm done with these girls and their hair. The toner's not coming out right. Like, I'm aggravated. But it happens to everyone. The best hairstylists in the world have bad days. If you could, in that little journal at the end of the night, just check in with yourself. Like, all right, what went wrong with this? We're missing a color. I tried to make a color. I use this. I use that. All that's going to do is make you a better hairstylist. And then in your little note section of the booking appointment app, whatever you guys have, put notes in that client's section, what you did, what went wrong, why it didn't work, why you think it would work, and what you're going to do next time. Because what you're going to do next time, either on a haircut basis or a color basis, it's fresh in your mind today. Because what's going to happen is she's going to book an appointment with you again because you have a lovely personality. And then when she comes back in the salon again, you're going to be like, oh shit, what did I want to do last time? But guess what? You got this note staring at you like, do not use 9.3. She'll look yellow. And you're like, I'm going to use 9.3. And then you look at her form, you're like, oh, don't use 9.3. Okay, cool. I know not to use that. That saved my ass so many times. And then hair cutting. She's going to tell you she wants bangs. Never cut bangs on her. Ever, ever, ever. Right? There's going to be like certain things you just put in there. Hey, I used a razor on her. I did this, this, and this. That technique really didn't work well. She complained about it last time. Because a lot of times she'll complain one time, a couple months go by, and you forget. Like, you learn more techniques, and then you're going to do that same technique because it's part of your repertoire of tools, and you're like, oh, don't use that on her. So whether you're cutting or coloring, always have a good amount of notes in your client record, just to remind you of things that work, things that didn't work, and then in your personal little journal, things just to. If you're writing all the good days that happen, when you have a bad day, skip back a couple days, and then mentally go back to that day that you did someone's hair for their wedding and she brought you in pictures and it came out beautiful. That person got the job because of your haircut, let's say, and you just gave her the confidence to really kill that interview. Or someone went on a date, and put those notes in there too. So when you're reading through your notes and you're on that bad day, you could flip back a couple pages and be like, oh, I don't suck at doing hair. I'm actually really good. You're going to need those, trust me, I promise you. And then pillar number 3, eliminate conflicting voices in your head and just get to work. So what I mean by conflicting voices, you want to post every day on social media, but you're afraid of what people are going to think of you. You're afraid of getting made fun of. You're afraid of your client saying, no, don't take a picture of me. And then you have this belief system in your head that if you do this, then this will happen. But the problem is, if you do this, it's directly tied to your goal, but you're letting your other voice win. What are people going to say? Do you understand how hard it was for me to post every day on social media? It took me so many at-bats to try this. I've been doing this for, oh my God. James, when did we start Buddha Sport?
Almost 15 years ago.
Almost 15 years ago, I started posting online, doing things, whether it was with my other business, whether it was hair. Then with hair, I started over 10 years ago, probably creating content for YouTube. And then I would watch my videos and be mortified and stop. And then I would do another one. And then I started getting into this more mindset stuff and business development, because this is what I really love. Like, you want to learn how to cut hair, go watch Jacob Kahn. Want to color hair, go watch Blonde Chronicles, right? I can teach that stuff too, but that's not what inspired me. That's not what excited me. This excites me. And so I started making content for stylists and owners. And then my wife was like, what are you doing? And this is my wife, right? I love my wife. And she's like, because I'm putting myself out there. It's hard for her to grasp. No, we don't like a lot of people in our business. And whether you guys believe this or not, I'm not really a big extrovert. I'm pretty introverted. I don't like talking to people that much. I went to go pick up food last night, just story that happened to me. Walk into the bar, I'm like, don't really feel like talking to anybody because I just left an event at my other salon. I just wanted to kind of like not talk to anyone. I don't like talking to a lot of people when I'm out. I am really by myself. It's this character I have to turn on. The character I turned on for this particular video. And I see my brother-in-law and a bunch of friends from high school there. And I'm like, son of a bitch. I got to go over and talk to him now. And like, I'm burnt out. And like for anyone watching right now, they think I'm the life of the party and I'm extroverted. But in reality, it's hard for me too. But then what's on the other side of me creating content and these voices of, and I tell myself of people thinking I'm stupid, who do I think I am to give information out and help guide stylists and owners? And I have these voices in my head, and then I got to tell it to shut the fuck up because I have mouths to feed and my kids, and this is who I do this for. Like, where's my phone? Here's my phone. A picture of my kids and then win for them. I got to do it for them. I have all little quotes to remind me of why I'm doing this. And then I look at like Alex Hormozi, Gary Vaynerchuk, Cody Sanchez, Alex, and Layla Hormozi, like his wife. They put content out every day. They've been doing consistent. They have the lives I want. So I started asking myself, if I keep having these conversations with myself and not taking action and getting to work, am I ever going to have the dream life that I want? The answer is pretty clear. It's not. It's not going to happen. And so I had to get in my own head and defeat that voice and just take massive action, start doing it. And so I want you guys to make a list of all the things you tell yourself, why you can't post content, why you can't reach out to people on Instagram and just have a conversation with them. One of the lessons that are in our academy that you're going to get access to is called the chat the chair method. This is exactly how I built almost all of my businesses. From $0 to $1 million plus. It was off the back of this. Talking to people, conversating. And for someone who doesn't like to talk to people, people are gonna, like my friends will say that I'm not shy. That's only because I have to step into that person. I have to become that person who can actually talk to people. So if you need to create a character that who you need to become in your head, become that character, step into that role. But the chat the chair method is a simple method of communicating with people on Instagram or social media or whatever platform you're on that will help you attract more business into your salon for yourself. It's super simple. I'll give you a quick little breakdown. You create content that inspires somebody. It makes them ask a question. I call them hand raisers. It triggers some kind of engagement. They might follow you. When they follow you, you're going to go, hey, Stephanie, send. Thanks for following, send, or thanks for the comment. Are you following for the hair tips or are you looking for a new stylist? What's going to happen next? She's either not going to respond. She's going to be like, oh, I'm just here for the hair tips. Awesome. Any challenges you'd like to see me create content for? Yeah, I'm going thin on my side. I got breakage. Oh, well, here, what kind of products you use? Do you flat iron? Now you're in a conversation. I tell you what, why don't you stop in the salon? I could recommend some styling tricks or a product for you. Guess what? You just booked a consultation. Now she says to you, hey, I'm looking for a new stylist. Oh, really? What kind of style? What happened to your last stylist? What's going on? You continue the conversation. Either way, you're just making friends with people. Give them information. I promise you within 3 months, if you do this every day with 10 people in your Instagram, you're going to be booked. And so you won't do this if you're like, I can't talk to people I don't know. I feel like I'm being salesy. I feel like an idiot. You're not harassing people like the people trying to sell you hair on Instagram from China. That's not what you're doing. You are simply serving people with information. You're creating valuable content. You're telling the voices in your head to shut up. And you're looking at the person you need to become, and you're going to become that person because you have goals now. You will not attain a level of success being quiet, sitting in the corner. So if you were at a party and you're sitting in the corner and there's a room full of potential clients that you can do their hair, and you're in the corner on your phone, not talking to anyone, and I'm walking around handing out business cards, trading phone numbers, doing consultations, who's going to leave that party with a full book next week? Me. If you go to a bar, if you guys are young enough and you're still like at that age, some of you, even like, and for moms too, there's ways you can work this for anyone at any age level. You go to a bar, talk to the bartender, get her as a model. You're in college, talk to sorority sisters, get them in as models. You're in the moms group on Facebook, guess what you do? Talk to the moms group, get them in as models. Start doing their hair, start taking content, and then you collaborate with them on their own Instagram page. Now their friends see you collaborated with them. You just did their hair. Now you're building up. Now their friends are like, oh my God, who is this girl Monroe? Fuck, that's a beautiful haircut. Well, guess what? All of her friends now see Monroe did her hair. She just got 15 new clients because of that one post, because you weren't afraid to ask. You asked that person at the gas station, hey, who does your hair? It might look like shit. Like, oh, I'm just curious. Like, I'm a curly hair specialist, and I'm looking for a model. You have the perfect hair type that I need for the behind the chair contest I'm entering. Could you be my model? It won't cost anything. Oh, no shit. Yeah, awesome. How's next Wednesday at 12 o'clock? You film it, you get content, you collaborate on it. She leaves you a 5-star review, and you just literally knocked every aspect of building your book down with that one person because you weren't afraid to ask. And so you have to get to work. You have to do this. And here's the beauty of it. Once you build a routine and you take consistent action, it becomes second nature for you. And so when I see stylists block their book out in my salon, it drives me bananas. If you're supposed to do hair from 10 to 6, okay? What are you doing from 10 to 6 if you were fully booked? You were working. You were doing hair. But for some reason, there's no clients in your appointment book. And from 10 to 6, you go tanning, you go to Pilates, you go to Publix or whatever you have by you, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, you watch some Netflix, you don't do anything to build your career. If you spent your scheduled time that you're supposed to be doing clients, actually talking to people, creating content, doing the work within a few weeks to months, you won't have any more free time to do bullshit. You'll be actually doing clients. And you're going to be praying for the days that someone cancels because you got a second now for yourself to do things. So it's important that your routines, like if you're scheduled Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 to 6 to be in the salon, will do something that will help you get busy in the salon. It's very simple. And do that consistently. So let's see what else we got on our PDF here. Is this resonating with anybody? Like, this is like, some of it's like the same kind of information you're getting, but it's more geared towards our industry. I've been in the self-development industry for a long time. I spent a lot of money on coaches. I spent a lot of money on self-development CDs and courses. If you look at my Kajabi app right now, there's like 60 of them in there that every morning I'm digesting information. If you guys have a skill deficit, like you're not good at cutting or coloring, it's a different game today. You have YouTube, you have TikTok, you have so many platforms to give you the skills necessary to become an A+ stylist. We didn't have access to that. Like I know I got a lot of gray in my beard, so like, but I'm not that old, but I'm old enough before the internet, right? I had frigging VHS tapes. If you guys know what that is, it's things you put in a VCR that would play back to you. You couldn't skip. You had to watch the whole thing. We used to have Vidal Sassoon tapes, like the ABCs of cutting, and they were very painful, and you would watch them with really bad music, and Tony and Guy had them, and you just watched these things, and you couldn't forward the speed. So now we have YouTube. You can go to your favorite person and just watch their stuff. You can book them. You could actually message your favorite educator, like, hey, I did that haircut you taught on Instagram, and I'm struggling with it. Here's a video of me doing it. Can you look at this and see what I'm doing wrong? I promise you, if they're not a jerk off, they're going to message you back. We have access to that today. In 1 year's time, you could leave school and become one of the best in your area for free off of the free online education from YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and everyone who else is out there. And if you're walking around your salon and you see somebody doing amazing things, ask them, hey, how did you get that haircut? How did you formulate that color? Talk to them. It's just such an amazing time to be in our industry. And even better than that, guys, from product deals, like if you start creating content for a particular brand, doing product reviews every single day, they will hit you up and pay you money to talk about their product and their brand. This was not around 20 years ago. This could be a product that you talk about or a brand every single day. You another use case for it, how you use the hairspray, how you use the pomade, how you use the shampoo. And eventually, once you build enough attention up, they will pay you $5,000, $10,000 just to talk about their brand. They may bring you in like Chris Appleton to be their ambassador. You create enough content, you may have somebody fly you out to Dubai to do their hair for their wedding. Like I'm telling you right now, the times that we live in today, are unheard of for our industry. Carly Bible did makeup, right? Brad Mondo had a YouTube channel, millionaire. Guy Tang, I don't know what he's doing now. He's singing songs. Who knows what he's doing now? He started making fucking colorful hair videos on YouTube. That guy has an album out. He has his own color line. Kylie Jenner, Kylie Cosmetics. She doesn't even work in her industry. She's a billionaire because of it. Like, there's so many people that capitalized on doing hair or makeup that are now decamillionaires. Why not you? If you're aiming for $1,000 a week, I'm going to promise you right now, it's probably not going to be you. But if you shoot for the stars, it could be you. 100%. So when we go back to level one or phase one, clarity and focus, like if there is no limitations on what's possible because there really isn't, what would you be doing? What's your dream life look like? And go do that. Go create the life that makes you happy. It's possible today. The blueprint's going to be in this program. I'm going to give you guys different techniques and different skills to help you really build your personal brand alongside your salons. It's twofold, right? They need you, you need them. They help build the team builds the business. And there's synergy there. I mean, for years, it was like us versus them, stylists versus owners. It's not like that. It doesn't need to be like that. Both the owner and the stylist can work together for a successful outcome for the salon and for you. But it all falls back on good communication, being honest with each other, being honest with yourself and what you really want to do. And if something comes up in the salon that doesn't jive with you, don't hold it in. Speak to them. Let them know. Like, I have some of my team members on here. Monroe came into our team. There's some shit that she didn't like. She brought it to my attention. We're making changes to make it better. Right? I see it. I know it. And so if for owners out there who are watching, if someone's criticizing the salon, it's only because they care enough to tell you. If they didn't care enough to tell you, then more than likely, they're probably going to be leaving soon. So take that feedback, do something with it if it's useful. And if not, then give them feedback on, hey, this is why we're doing it this way. And then let them know your vision. Like, you should know your owner's vision. They should know your vision because they need to make sure they created a vehicle that's big enough to support your vision to take you where you want to go. And so don't hold anything back. Let them know. It's going to make for a really nice work experience when both of you are transparent on what your goals are with each other and then how you can help support each other get to where you need to go. So I'm going to open up for some Q&A, any questions you guys have about anything some of your owners might be implementing, anything you could take away from this particular call today. So if you know where the reaction tab is, you could just raise your hand and we can get started with Q&A. If you just want to come off mute, feel free. James, if anyone is on Instagram too, because I'm streaming the first call to Instagram too. James, we can ask questions too. Any questions, drop in the chat. Let's see here. This call's great. Monroe, you go first. Let me see, hold on. Can you unmute?
I think I got it.
All right, good.
Is that good?
Yep, perfect.
Okay, so I think it's really interesting talking about becoming an ambassador. And so in a lot of salons, there's different product lines.
Mm-hmm.
Do you suggest that you stick with just one line for content?
No, honestly, I like what you're saying. I love this question. So anyone listening right now didn't hear her question. Monroe asked me, in terms of being an ambassador for a brand, should you stick to one product line or should you try multiple ones? If you don't have a deal yet, or you don't have like an affinity to one particular brand, let's say like Die Hard, you love them and you're going to go get them. If you're not just stuck on one brand, do a vast amount of product reviews so you can actually give enough value to your fan base and build a huge audience, because you're going to get people who are searching for is what's better, Redken or Matrix? What's better, Pureology or Shibui? And then you're giving your own honest opinion on both of them. Then as you build that audience, let's say you have a solid YouTube channel and you got 2 million subscribers now. Guess what you do? You either lock in that brand deal or you create your own brand. And now it's like, I'm not getting paid $10,000 from that brand to do a post. I'm selling 10,000 units of my own brand to do a post. And so the upside of that is way greater, but that's what I would do unless you already had a connection with the brand already forming. And then that's going to play its own course out. You know what I mean? So yeah, because there's so many products out there now. And then you could just use that platform to test this versus that. I was going to do something called Battle of the Brands. And so I'm probably going to start creating more content for our salon, like brand wise. Like this week, actually, I'm probably going to do that. And that was my idea, Battle of the Brands. I want to pit, hey, best leave-in conditioner, and then best leave-in conditioner for curly hair, best for fine hair. Like there's so much that goes into what we do. So don't limit yourself right now. The brand, when you start calling them out, will hit you up and be like, hey, we love that video you made for us. Let's have a conversation. And then at that point, you can make a decision to be exclusive with that brand if the money's right, or, hey, love it, thank you, and do some other kind of brand deal with them. But that's the route I would take now because there's really not a ton of money unless you have a huge audience. So build a big audience first, and then you could work with a particular brand or not.
Okay, and then I have part 2 of that question. Because I'm definitely one of those people that has the personal account and the hair account. Because when I first started getting on Instagram, they're like, keep one professional, keep one, whatever your personal stuff is. And now it's like, I don't know how to merge that. And
where do you have more engagement?
They're pretty similar right now. That's what's.
Then pick your hair one. Then if you have more content, it's easier to just go into your hair one and make your hair one your personal one. If they're both similar, it really doesn't matter at this point. I would just lean into one because the time you spend on platform is going to help your engagement for that particular one. So if you're jumping back and forth talking to people and messaging, then it's splitting up your attention, like what Google's going to show for you. And so if you're doing stuff with your husband, do stuff with your husband. If you know what I mean, like show that in your stories. Like nobody needs to see all of your stuff, really. Just do the stuff that's you want to show to people. So I'm sure you're not showing everything on your personal page. It just add more hair stuff to it.
I do share a lot. I just think maybe it's just an emotional thing of like letting go of like my personal page.
They keep that on the back. Like keep it, just use one as your main page and just keep that for like personal conversations and whatever. But I would really 99% of your time is dedicated towards your personal brand. Because if you want a brand deal, I mean, how many pages I'm going to use what the hell's her name? The Jenner. Who's the Kylie Cosmetics? She's Kylie Cosmetics, right? She has her personal brand, but then Kylie Cosmetics is nowhere near what her personal brand is. The Rock, right? Dwayne Johnson. He's The Rock. He sells tequila. He sells movies, bodybuilding, Under Armour, Reebok, whatever endorsement deals he has. He has his kids on there doing his makeup. And then you look at any of the big celebrities who really got the personal brand aspect, they have one page. And so you're just doing that on a smaller level. And then once you get big enough, then you'll have brand deals with Color Wow, brand deals with Davines, So yeah, lean into it, showcase who you are. You have a beautiful spirit and you do a lot of cool stuff, like whether it's meditation, crystals, healing, that's awesome. All of that ties into what we do. So showcase that. Those are all connection points. You don't want to shut them off for potential clients and deals.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Great question. Great question. All right, next up was Samuel. Oh, I'm sorry. I might have unmuted your thing. Hold on. There you go. Now you got it. Cool.
There we go.
Right.
Hi. To backtrack on the ambassador thing, that is my goal. That's my long-term goal. I currently work in a concept salon, and just to be honest with you, I don't love the brand that we work with.
Yeah.
I don't. So do you have any suggestions for me? Because I feel like in order to chase my goals, I have to be using certain products. I can't just become a brand ambassador for a product line I don't use. So it's kind of hard.
No, it's cool.
That.
So is there a Cosmo by you or a Salon Centric?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can get a lot of these brands, like a lot of these products on, like for a good deal, relatively close to you. You can start emailing brands, like, hey, I'm doing a product review. So how it would work in the beginning is this. You're probably gonna have to come out of pocket a little bit for these products, right? So if you are building, you're commission-based or you're rental-based? Commission? Okay, cool. What salon do you guys work with or do you work with?
Vogue.
Okay. So I have access to plenty of products that are samples. I would have your owner, if you could, put you in charge of speaking to distributors of doing a product change, right? We're thinking about bringing in some new brands. You talk to the reps and distributors, they come in bearing gifts with all the brands. Now you have samples. Now you create content for the free products you got to test out. So they have so many brands, like so many brands have so many products to give away for free. So hit up all the distributors in your area, like, hey, I know we're exclusive with Aveda, let's say, or whatever brand is you're exclusive with, and then, or your concept with, like, hey, we're looking to bring on more brands. What do you have in your portfolio? They're going to bring you a ton of stuff. Now you got stuff to do reviews on. Now you get your chops wet with like creating content, testing out products, doing your honest review. And honestly, you probably will get enough stuff to do this for like 6 months before they really catch on. Okay. And now you got a ton of products. Like, oh, we're trying this one still. I'm trying to get my owner to do it. I'm in charge of this. And just kind of take it. They're salesmen. They have quotas to meet, and they have to give out so many products anyway. So just reverse engineer what they're doing, do it to them. And then you're going to have a ton of content. And then by that time, you should have enough content out on the internet and enough followers and enough clout where now you can reach out to brands and say, hey, I want to do a review on the Bionic curling iron. And they'll send it to you. And they start sending you from the brands. Does that help?
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right, cool, man. Good question. Toby.
I'm not a stylist. I'm an assistant to the salon owner.
Cool.
And I'm just learning. So I'm wondering how you feel about, you talked about goal setting and personally, and then we have goals set for the shop itself. I'm wondering how you feel about posting, these are our goals for this month. So posting somewhere, each stylist, and where they, let's say it's retail sales.
Yeah.
Here's what so-and-so has sold, or here's what so-and-so has pre-booked. How do you feel about that in a
group setting, like for like a competitive, like a competition type of deal?
Yeah.
I honestly, I'm pretty neutral on it. I don't dislike it, and I don't love it or hate it. You know what I mean? It depends on your culture and your team, and if they are a type of team that are really hungry and go-getters. Because what begins to happen is you have one killer on your team, and every single month she's the one who sells the retail. She is the one who's always going to have the pre-booking people, and so it might form some resentment. So I would do it on maybe a level, like a years in business level. So you have your 3 years and below, and this is like your junior team, your middle team, and this way it's fair, right? Almost like weight classes in like a boxing match, for instance. And so obviously my clients love me. I always outbooked everyone in my salon. I always sold more retail. I was the owner too, so it made, like, I would say buy this, like, all right, give me 3. It was just different, but they trusted us. So the younger girls are still building trust, and so separate the competition between, like, I think how many years in business might be a better way to go around that.
Because you want it to be encouraging.
I wanted to. I don't want to defeat them. I wanted to inspire them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, that's great.
Yeah. Cool. Well, anything else?
Thanks. Nope, that's it.
Cool. And then you're more. What salon are you with?
Chantel Funky.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, Chantel's amazing. Yeah, you could join those calls with her too, by the way, when we do them on Mondays as well. Yeah, Chantel, she can come in any of the leadership calls, and she's more than welcome to jump in there. And she could talk about her stylist, so they won't hear her. I'm just kidding, guys. That was a great question, by the way.
Thank you. Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. Anyone else have any more questions?
Yeah. What's the best way to receive a call from a client?
We mean like a phone call?
I'm guessing.
All right, guys, if you're struggling with phones and like your iPhone and you don't want to give your personal information out there, there's an app called Open Phone. It's what I use now in my salons. And so you get like a digital number, you get a secondary phone number that you could put on your marketing, your Instagram, and they could just call Open Phone. And then this way they're not calling your personal line. Honestly, like I always give my personal number out. Like my coaching clients have my personal number, and all my coaches who coach me say I'm a maniac for that. Don't do that. It's just, I am a maniac. It's in my DNA. If I don't want to answer you, I just don't answer you. I just answer you when I have time. There's no rule that says you have to answer someone immediately. It's the level you're playing at, though. So if you want to have the utmost, if you're trying to build the clientele, you answer right away. Hey, I got to get in. Oh, shit. All right, when do you want to come in? Tomorrow? Right now? Like you're trying to build. After you build up, then you could ease off the gas pedal a little bit. But for right now, if you're trying to build, then you want to be available as much as possible. And then as you get oversubscribed, then you could kind of ease back a little bit and have set a little more boundaries for everyone. But in the growing phase, it's a sprint. You're just moving as fast as you can, doing as many people as you can, growing. And then when you get to your level, then you kind of chill out a little bit. But if you're looking for a communication line, I would say OpenPhone is the easiest, best app I've ever used in terms of communicating via phone call and text. Next question, James.
Will this video become available on YouTube?
This video is available to the Level Up Academy and the Next Level Stylist in our community. So if you want information on how to become part of the stylist part of what I do, DM me the word stylist and we'll see if you're a good fit for that, okay?
How do you, Sour B Hair Color, how do you feel about promoting a price list, or do you recommend prices be discussed at consultation?
Oh, cool. All right, guys, for the question, if you didn't hear James, he was talking about a price list that is being displayed. I'm all for, well, it depends what stage you're in. You need to show a price list anyway if you're a licensed salon for the Board of Cosmetology in whatever country you're in. Typically, they want you to show your prices. I believe in an end up or a plus sign, and then I also do parts and labor. So I think you should have a price list as a gauge for people, because you don't want to like have someone come in your chair who really can't afford a $500 highlight if that's your base price. So be transparent with it. If your haircuts are $125, have it on $125, because I tell you it's going to work both ways. Someone's going to look at your prices and be like, ooh, $65? Nope, not going there. Oh, $125? That's the girl I want to cut my hair. Some people think more expensive is better. And so if you're a luxury salon, have your pricing be luxury. I promise you, when you charge more, you get a better quality client. They complain less because they don't care about the money as much. For the most part, it's 99% true. But yeah, you should have your prices and then have some kind of disclaimer. This is a starting price. That does not include color. Like, make sure you make it pretty transparent for people. But yeah, it's good to have your prices displayed. Samuel, did you have one more question? Or is your hand just still raised?
It was still raised.
All right, cool. No problem. And last question for anyone watching right now on Instagram.
We don't have anything.
All right, beautiful. Guys, thanks for watching. If you want more information on how to watch this or be part of this, DM me the word stylist. Everyone in the community, welcome to our first call today. I hope that you guys liked it. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it kind of helped give you a little more direction on where to take your business app behind the chair. And honestly, you should own it. This is your business. You got in this career for a reason. You didn't get in this career to become a nurse or a realtor. It's going to get hard. It's hard for everybody. There's plenty of days that I contemplated not doing this anymore because I had a client complain, or it just gets hard. It really is hard. You're dealing with the public. What you see, like when someone shows you a picture, you see this picture and then you do it on them and it looks exactly like the picture. And they're like, this isn't what I wanted. Like it happens every single day. It's not just you. The 4 Agreements is a book that I live by. It's part of my hiring process in my salon. And the last agreement is always do your best. If you always do your best every single day, I mean your best, and your best will change from day to day. Like my best yesterday may not be as good as my best tomorrow, but it was my best for today. If you always do your best, when you get home after work and you lay your head on your pillow, you will always be able to go to sleep. Nothing will keep you up at night. Gave it my best. It's only when you know you have this vision of who you want and what you want out of this life and who you want to be to achieve that, and you don't give it your best, you actually cheated yourself. And that's why you stay up at night. So give it your best. It's going to get hard. It wasn't easy for anybody. Any celebrity stylist out there, I promise you, they still fuck people's hair up. If you got sensitive ears, I'm sorry. I curse. That's what I do.
We got one last question.
But I promise you, they have days, your Jacob Kahns, your Carly Zanoni, your whoever they are, whoever the biggest big dogs in the industry are, there's people who think they suck. I promise you. They cried at one point in their career in the break room and said they wanted to become a realtor. It's inevitable. But they didn't. They stuck with it. And now they have an amazing business. They're an ambassador. Okay? Think of all the hate that the best people get in their comments. And they're amazing. You're going to get people who leave you stupid comments. Delete them and block them. Don't let it stop you from making content. Last question in the DMs, James.
George does hair. What should be the secret price of a cut? I don't know what you mean.
What should be the secret price of a cut? I don't know how to answer that question. So the secret price of the cut, the secret pricing strategy, no idea. Whatever you think you're worth. If you could deliver $1,000 haircut, charge $1,000 for it. People don't pay for the haircut. They pay for their hair not to get messed up. So if I'm paying an elevated price, it's almost like insurance that, all right, cool, I'm paying $500 for these highlights. It should not be messed up. It should be pretty much perfect. If I'm paying $1,000, I think Ted Gibson's $2,600 a haircut, I should leave there with what I want. So that is you saying, hey, I promise you, you might get the same haircut for $15, but I'm guaranteeing for $1,000, you're going to get this haircut and you're going to love it. And that's how I like to base my pricing around. Obviously, there's more science behind that. But yeah, just know when it comes to pricing, can you deliver on this? Can I deliver 100% what I promised with that price? So that's how I do my pricing. Guys, you're amazing. Thank you for tuning in this call. Every Monday at 3 o'clock, we're going to kick off with a new strategy, a new technique, some Q&A. I think the rhythm we're going to keep on this, I'm going to break it down for you right now. Let me get into my academy. Let's see here. It's going to be under Classroom when you guys get access to it. I'm going to probably open up access later on this week. But we're doing mastery, mindset, and money. Or mastery, money, mindset, marketing? Yes. Marketing, mastery, money, and mindset. 4 pillars, all with M's. And so we're going to talk about pricing. We're going to talk about money, how to make money, how to invest money. Because honestly, ownership may not be for you. You might be able to start a little career being an ambassador, maybe get a car wash. Like there's a lot of hairstylists out there that should not own a salon. Like just because you're good at hair doesn't mean you're going to be a good owner in this business. But you can get a laundromat, you can get a car wash, you can start a rental property business. So you can use this as your vehicle to build your funds up, to invest in other things. So we're going to have conversations like that in here. But honestly, mostly mastery. So techniques, color theory, cutting theory, mindset, like the belief system you have that will help get you to an elevated level. And then marketing, social media, communication with people, how to build your book. So see you guys next Monday at 3 o'clock and have a good rest of your week. See everyone later. Peace, Instagram.